Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryder, and this is a beginner's guide to Zarya. In this video, we're going to go over the basic abilities and playstyle of Zarya, so that you can kind of jump into competitive and quick play and kind of have an idea of how she functions and how she works, and how she operates as a tank. Keep in mind, in order to master heroes in this game, it does take practice and repetition and learning how they operate and some of the different things. I will go over some tips and some tricks and some strengths and weaknesses of Zarya, but at the end of the day, the only way you're really going to master this hero is by putting in the time and really learning her. We're definitely going to give you a foundation here so you don't go in completely blind. If you like this video, guys, before I get started, be sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Check the description down below where my Twitch channel is linked, where I stream pretty regularly. If you want to go on there and drop a follow, I would greatly appreciate it. But without further ado, let's jump into Zarya. So, Zarya is a tank hero. Whenever I say tank hero, that basically means your job is to create space. Your job is to create an opportunity for your team to capitalize, and your job is to push forward, okay? You will be the front line. You will be the one who's going to go in first. You're going to be the one leading the charge. So keep that in mind. If you choose to play tank, your job is to be at the front line pushing in. You're going to have more survivability, more sustainability, and you're going to be able to survive in an outright fight with the enemy team a lot longer than, say, your Reaper or your Sombra or your Soldier. So your job is to go in there and create that space. And Zarya has a lot of tools to help her with that. There are two different types of tanks in this game. There are your defensive tanks and there are your dive tanks. Zarya is kind of weird in the fact that I would consider her more defensive based, but she can be a little divey, but she's definitely a unique one. Her kit's very unique compared to the rest of the tanks. I would still kind of rank her in that defensive build though, because she's definitely not your faster tank. But let's go ahead and jump into her ability. So her primary fire is her particle cannon. She has two forms of fire. Her primary fire is her straight tractor beam, has 100 charge on it, and it ticks down as you hold the button down, okay? Her secondary fire is her launch. She uses about 25 charge each time she shoots it, and it's got a pretty good range, does a pretty decent amount of damage, as you can see here, and it just basically does splash damage at its point of impact. So those are her two different forms of fire. The rest of her kit is circled around her energy bubbles, okay? And when I say energy bubbles, that is her sustainability and her defensive stuff. When you start to play Zarya, you will notice you only have two abilities. The abilities to spawn either a shield on yourself or a shield on a teammate. And you have two charges, and those charges share cooldown. So you have to choose, are you going to bubble yourself or a teammate in any given situation? Now this bubble doesn't last very long, only a couple of seconds, and it can be DPS'd through. However, that's kind of the point. Zarya's kit is, when her bubbles are attacked, her energy level raises. As you can tell on my crosshairs here, you'll see a number. Right now it shows 0. Okay? If someone attacks Zarya when she's shielding herself, or one of Zarya's teammates when she has bubbled that teammate, she will gain charge, and this number will go up. As that number goes up, her damage from her tractor beam and her secondary fire will increase dramatically, to where when it gets to 100 at a full charge, you are absolutely melting the enemy team. It doesn't take long for these charges to respawn, and they last for approximately a couple seconds. So you want to make sure that you pick your targets that are pushing in, or if your targets are close to death or something like that, this is why you should be at the front of the line. As Zarya, you should be pushing in at the front of the line and bubbling to take those hits. As you can see, the numbers going up as I'm getting hit. And you're not really going to see a whole lot of a change because I'm not actually getting actively, DPS. But, that's kind of how she functions, is you want to react to the damage going into her. Zarya is a little bit of a higher skill cap tank to play effectively, because you're going to have to know and learn when to bubble, when to trust your healers, when to bubble a teammate, and when to bubble yourself, because you only have 2 charges. If you run out of charges, you are 100% vulnerable, and you have to kind of find that happy balance. It is kind of a dance, and it's a tricky one, but once you get it down, Zarya is an absolute unit on the field. To be completely honest, she's OP as hell right now. She's one of the A-list tanks that I've seen played a lot. Now, that being said, there's one ability I haven't covered yet, and that is her ultimate, the Graviton Surge. This ultimate is quite possibly one of the most powerful in the game, not because of the damage output it deals, but because of the possibilities it presents. Graviton Surge launches a vortex, let's call it vortex, at the location she is pointing in. Any enemy player caught in this vortex will be sucked in point blank towards the center of that vortex and held in place during the duration of the Graviton Surge. That's all it does. They will all get forced in. They cannot get out until the Graviton Surge ends. Now, why is this such a good ultimate, you ask? Because of the combo potential. Zarya is amazing with comboing with other people. You should never throw your Graviton out just anywhere. Okay, your job as Zarya is to watch the charge on your team. See what your team has in terms of ultimates. For example, Hanzo. This is a very famous one, okay? Hanzo's ultimate is the Dragon Strike. Grab Drag, okay? If you communicate with your Hanzo and you say, okay, Hanzo, you have Dragon, I'm gonna Graviton Surge, I got Grab, I'm gonna go in, and you communicate with your Hanzo and you say, hey, I'm gonna grab the team. When I do, pop your Dragon on them. You grab them, they're all in one centralized location and they can't run. And Hanzo launches that arrow, you've just wiped the entire enemy team with your ult combined with Hanzo's. Same thing goes with Junkrat's Riptire, Reaper's Blossom, even Soldier 76, his Tack Visor, May's Blizzard. All of these ultimates are comboed with Graviton Surge. The most important thing with a Zarya player is to know when to grab. Don't be stupid about it. Don't just throw it out there randomly, okay? This is an ultimate, in my opinion, you can hold. Now, can you just throw it out there to hold a point? Yes. If you are at like overtime and you're trying to keep them away from the point long enough for timer to run out, yeah, sure. Graviton the team, keep them away. You can do that. But for the most part, Graviton Surge is that ultimate that you want to always try to combo with your teammates as much as humanly possible. You will get the most value out of this ultimate with that in mind. So this is definitely a team play tank. A couple of tips and tricks with Zarya. I've already kind of went over the ultimate. I will go over a little bit in terms of the barriers. The bubbles can be tricky. You can keep in mind that, they don't last forever. You want to make sure that you are always kind of moving, bobbing, and weaving so that you're a harder target to hit. You want to react upon what is happening to you. Okay, don't just run in and pop your bubble. Because if they're not focusing you, you just wasted a charge, okay? You should go in and start firing this off. And it does a pretty decent damage even at 0 charge. But, I mean, at 100% charge, you destroy. Okay, I mean, you can melt a Roadhog in a matter of seconds with the Tractor Beam if you're at full charge. Keep in mind, you want to watch your teammates like Tracer, Genji, your dive heroes that are going to be in the enemy's face and doing it like Reaper. These heroes, they're going to be targeted a lot. Your supports might get targeted. You can save somebody's life very easily with this. So, you really want to be smart in picking and choosing when to bubble and when not to bubble. Because, like I said, the worst thing you could do as Zarya is waste out all your bubbles just throwing them out to whoever you see, and next thing you know, notice I got 13 charge just from that, and then my damage output will go up because of it. Now it does deteriorate over time, by the way, so you do want to make sure that you keep that in mind. As far as strengths and weaknesses with Zarya, as far as hero matchups, strengths, she is very strong against Winston's. Winston's lightning arc from his railgun, it does not discriminate. If you have a very dumb Winston on the enemy team that just leaps in and just fires off his lightning, you can just eat that lightning charge as charge for your particle cannon. I mean, you just bubble and just eat all of it, and you will just do some ridiculous damage. Same goes for Junkrats. Junkrats, they indiscriminately throw and lob grenades into the enemy team. So if you notice the team's running a Junkrat, that's just free charge. He's throwing those grenades out, you bubble, run into his grenades. That's free charge. That's free damage that you have. Free charge that you can do. Same with Symmetras. If they're running a Symmetra and you know where her turrets are, don't destroy them right away. Pop your bubble, pop your shield, go in there and let those turrets just tunnel on your bubble for a second. Oh man, the charge you generate from that, it's just masterpiece. It literally, you'll be eating them alive for breakfast. It's funny as hell. So these are all heroes that if you see them, make sure Zarya, if you use your bubble correctly, you're gonna absolutely wreck them. As far as some weaknesses, she does have some. First of all, being Roadhog is kind of a challenge for her just because of the fact that he can pull her out of position, pull her when she's not comfortable. His attacks are slow enough that he is able to time out and push enough damage to force her bubbles pretty easily. I see a lot of Zaryas panic when they get hooked in and they pop their bubble immediately. If I'm playing Roadhog and I hook in a Zarya, I'll blast him once, and then the minute I see a bubble, I'll hold off. I'll just wait. I'll wait for that bubble to go away. The minute it goes away, bam, I'll blast them again. Oh, they bubbled again. Oh, no. I wait a couple seconds. Okay, now I'm going to hook them in and kill them. Zarya's panic very easily with that. So don't fall into that trap. Other things that are kind of a pain for Zarya are other Zaryas. If you're combating against another Zarya, it can be kind of a pain in the butt because you're each competing for that charge, and you do feed each other's charge a lot as well. So you want to keep that in mind. Pharahs are a challenge for Zarya to get to because they're airborne. Same with Echo. Any long-range heroes kind of a pain in the butt for Zarya. So Widowmakers, Hanzos, your long-range targets, they're kind of a pain. Sombra can be kind of a pain if they hack her consistently and keep her from using her bubbles. It can be a problem as well. All of these things are things that you need to keep in mind when you're playing Zarya. If you notice that you're not getting much value out of her, it might be a good idea to swap and try a different hero out that might get a little bit better value against the matchup. Keep in mind this is a counterplay game. It's not a one-trick game. Now, that being said, there was one other trick that I wanted to cover with you guys on top of all of that, and that is the ranged potential of Zarya with these secondary fire here. Don't underestimate the damage that secondary fire does, even at no charge. It does a good amount of damage, good amount of ult charge, and if you do manage to get charged, I mean, you're causing non-stop splash damage to the enemy team. I mean, if you even with a little bit of charge, like you're going to be able to create a ton of damage output. If anything generates an ult charge, maybe get a cheap pick here and there. So you don't want to run into the team by yourself in hopes of just mowing them all down, because it's not going to happen, even with full charge. You want to basically, it's like I said before, it's like a dance. You want to go forward and start to create that space and bubble and eat some charge, and maybe bubble your teammate, eat some more charge, see if you can get a pick. Oh, I didn't get a pick. Okay, let me back up real quick. Let me play with your corners, and get your charges back of your shield, go back in again, and the whole while you're doing this, be launching these long-range attacks over and over again the whole time, because all that is free damage on the enemy team and free ult charge. So don't underestimate the secondary fire. Make sure you're using this when you're at a distance, because it is very important. But with that is your beginner's guide to Zarya, guys. If you guys like what you saw here, please hit the like button. Comment down below if you have any other further questions. I'll see if I can answer them any way I can. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video, and I will catch you guys later. Bye. Thanks for watching.